The family reported to police early Friday morning, early in the day, around 10 a.m., that the two kids they believed had left the home through a sliding door, which they say is quite silent when it opens and closes. So that's how they believe the children may have left the home. That's what the police have been told. At this point, there has been, again, this ongoing search and rescue operations. Police said they've searched thoroughly 4 kilometers of wooded terrain using GPS and grid searches. But of course, again, with all of these questions that are left on day 6 of this search, questions are starting to circulate around what could have happened to these kids. Could they have met with foul play, unfortunately? Here's what we heard from police when they were asked that question just last hour.
I'm not going to comment on specifics of the investigation. We're going to continue on, and when we get to a point that we've got information that we're able to make any decisions that are able to be public, we'll let you know at that time. But right now, I'm not going to comment on specifics.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and we're covering the case out of Nova Scotia, and this is Lily and Jack Sullivan. I hope everybody is doing well this wonderful Monday evening. Here in Florida, it's been wet, but we have needed the rain. It's nice to see you, Miss Happy Ariel. It's nice to see you, Life with Chris, JD. Good evening, guys. Good evening. I hope you're all doing well. I'm not sure how many of you guys know. Hey, Angie, it's nice to see you. Belinda, hello, guys. Hey. This is the case out of Nova Scotia, as I said, and these children disappeared on Friday, May 2nd. Oh, thank you, Billy. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well this wonderful Monday. There are some oddities about this particular case. These kids went missing on May 2nd, but we all know they did not report to school on Thursday before they disappeared, which is leaving a lot of questions in people's minds. And if these children walked off, why have there been nothing found? You know, these are young children. Lily is 6, Jack is 4 years old, and lost in the woods. I would think a shoe would have come off, they would have dropped the backpack, just some articles of clothing, something, you know, to point to somewhere that they're traveling or a path that they're traveling, but there's been nothing. And did they really truly have a house party? Does anybody know if that is a legitimate statement? Because I heard that they had a house party either a day or two before these children disappeared. And whether or not people like these parents or like the way they behave or like some of the statements that they make, this is super important, because if they had a house party, this could be an introduction of a third party or a stranger danger type of scenario, and we'll get into that in just a second, because how hungover were they from this alleged party, right? If they had this house party, I'd have to think that it happened. Hey, Sandra, it's nice to see you, love. I've been looking for an update. Good to see you on. Oh, thank you, Boston Sunflower. I appreciate that. So if they did have this house party, how hungover were they, and who was all there? Because they could have been introduced to somebody, and did somebody stay the night there, right? Because there is some chatter out there that said these parents never woke up, and, you know, they may have lost a day. And I can see where that happens, because there were substances found in the house. What substances? I truly don't know what substances. But there were some substances that I heard were found inside their home, which could lead to some type of support that they had a house party. But you know how, like, when you're partying, how, like, sometimes you fall asleep and you think daytime is nighttime, and it's really nighttime, and it's just crazy. You know, is there a possibility where these kids got up and went to school, or did somebody stay the night or stay in their car, and when these kids got up to take themselves to school, somebody offered them a ride that they were familiar with from the night before. I mean, there is these possibilities. That's why I'm trying to find out, if these things are true, because we know the statistics in a situation like this, especially if the children are unalive, is that this has to do with a caretaker, either neglect or just too much, right? She had a 16-month-old child as well named Meadow, and I'm learning that Meadow's in the care of the Children and Family Services in Canada, whatever their name is, or alphabet soup for that department. But it sounds like Meadow, their younger sister, has been removed from both Daniel as well as their mother. And here's another thing that I find really, really odd. And again, I just gave you guys all the reasons why I'm not coming out and saying that the parents are responsible. It's because there are possibilities out there that, depending on what happened in and around the time that these children disappeared, that could hold weight on some alternative theory. So I don't want to jump right in and say the parents did it, because that would be improper, right? We have to look at other, not just them. We can side-eye them. I'm side-eyeing them too because of statements they make, the mom leaving. And that brings me to the next thing. The mom hasn't been back. The mom hasn't been back. So I'm, just curious, because why hasn't the mother been back? Her children disappeared from a specific area and she goes outside of that county. Where is the real dad? Well, I've got some information on that as well. Unfortunately, I don't know where it is. But somebody did find out some information on the father. But I can't remember what it was or what it is. But I do remember discussing it. And another key takeaway about the mother, which I really, really, really don't like, that has surfaced as well, and that is the mom walked out of a briefing, a police briefing as well. And that's she's left the area, she's left the home, she's not even close. I personally heard she's no longer where she left that home and went and stayed. She's actually at now a third location, but that hasn't been corroborated. It's just what I heard. So until I corroborate that, I don't know if it's true, but I'll keep an eye and ear out, to find out whether it is or not. But I just find it awfully funny that a mother of these young children, again, 4 years old and 6 years old, has left the area and has not been back. In addition to that, prior to her leaving the area, she walked out of a police briefing about her children. And I'm just, at this point, I'm kind of shocked, and this is the mom and the stepfather. If you guys don't know who they are, that's mom and stepdad right there. Daniel and Malehya, they look normal, right? But from my understanding, they're not. Things aren't as normal as they want to portray. And, I never want to condemn anybody for their home, ever, because let's face it, some of us don't have all the choices and the luxuries in this world. But it's how we take care of our family. And it's how we keep our house. This is not, outside of it being in a desolate area and it looking like it's being held up by toothpicks, at the end of the day, the yard's not ultra cluttered, right? It's not, we've seen houses worse than this, where there's nothing but trash all over the outside of the house. This is not the case, so that's a good thing. We do see some stuff down here. I don't know if you guys could see that, but down there, we can see some stuff in this photo that, is kind of not picked up or kept up. But for the most part, the area the children would be playing in is pretty clean and pretty clear. But again, it is ultra secure and it has a complete fence around it. So, again, there's just a lot of questions that I honestly believe with a little bit of, a few answers from the mom or stepdad that might bring clarity. But I really think if there was a house party there, we need to look at that. We can't just dismiss this house party because we think the parents did it. We really need to look at that house party and find out, one, who attended. Are any of these people bad people, right? Or had any type of situation in their background previously? There is a possibility of that. I heard they were found. Is that true? As of a little while ago, I did not hear anything, and I don't have my computer or my other phone. Let's go find out. I don't think so. Hold on a second. Let's find out. Are you keeping my spot warm there, Miss Delilah? Are you keeping my spot there warm, Miss Delilah? Okay, let's see. I believe they were gone a lot longer than Friday. They reported Thursday they missed school. I'm with you, Em. And I've said that multiple times as well on my YouTube show. Did I? I think this might have ran out of juice. It might be SOL. I don't think they've been found. I would think that would be on everything. Sorry, but the children have been found. Oh, I got 0%. I was wondering, I heard someone say it this morning. Please stop spamming. Please stop spamming. Okay. Okay, that's not true. I've seen a video. They haven't heard they were found. I think that was a rumor. Okay, that makes sense. Actually, the mom's friend is on site a couple of days ago and found them. I don't think that is true, because I would have heard about that if it was a couple of days ago. I will tell you that, because I've been all over this. I mean, if they were found, it would have had to have been in the last half hour, because I search, for these stories throughout the day. Yeah, so I'm also, what does it say? 7 candidates. I've not heard that. Yeah, it's somebody spamming the chat. That's all. Okay. I don't believe that, so there we go. Okay, so that person will stop spamming the chat now. So, okay, so no, they have not been found. I didn't think they were. I was like, wait a minute, the only way they would have been found, because I've been preparing for the last hour, and I grabbed to see if there was any other talking points that I would have liked to have talked about tonight. And I think the main one for tonight's show was really focusing on the fact that the mom left. And that's troublesome for me, that the mom has left, because one of the things, the key takeaways the Wednesday before was also a PA day from school. I agree with that. That's why I think something happened Tuesday night or Wednesday night, because of the missing of Thursday, the actual day they were supposed to be back in school, and they didn't show up, and by Friday they called them in missing. And I also heard through the grapevine that the school was calling, trying to find out where the kids were and why they were not in school. So they knew that they had to do something, and it was immediately called in the next day on Friday. I just find when you put it all together like that, it seems ultra suspicious to me. But I don't want to lay blame on the parents yet, because we have to resolve all other possibilities. And right now there is another possibility on the table for me. And that possibility is if there's a house party. If there was a house party in and around the time that these kids, the time these kids disappeared, then there might be another excuse for that. What if the parents overslept through a day and didn't realize the kids were gone for an entire day? I mean, there's so many other possibilities. Or slept through the fact that they needed to get up and take them to school. Like I said, we have to resolve that possibility first, okay? Just in my mind, we have to do this methodically. This is what I do with every single case. We look at all the possibilities and we try to either eliminate them or prove them. And then once we get everything kind of, brought down to a manageable scenarios, then we start looking at them and finding out which one makes the most sense based upon the facts that we have before us. And right now, I see a lot of people just jumping to point the finger at these parents. And while I don't misunderstand me, there's a lot of suspicion that I can see, and I completely understand people's suspicion because of the way that they're acting, because of some of the things that they're saying. And we've just seen it with the Sebastian Rogers case. So it's hard, it's hard. It's just hard. I heard the stepdad has other kids he can't see. I don't know if that's true. Oh, that's interesting. Not surprising, though. Not surprising, because somebody sent me the old prior Facebook account or some account of Malehya. And she was much younger, was before she had the kids, and you could see she was a little bit of a party animal way back then too. So, and I shouldn't say that, because there's a lot of women that I know that used to be party animals in their younger years that became moms, and that was their only job. But with this whole house party things, I'm starting to think that they probably weren't very considerate of what their children are going through, because I'm sure this wasn't the first house party, and what are these children being subjected to at these house parties? No, there is a lot of that could have happened. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that could have happened. Now, granted, I'm not dumb. The parents' behavior, statements that they're making, really makes me want to look at them. But with these other things that need to be resolved first, we need to resolve them before we can really take a critical eye at the parents, in my opinion. Please clear up. He is the stepdad of these, not the father, and the father of the 18-month-old. The child's 16 months, from my understanding. Her whole body language. I agree with you. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. And then, of course, having substances in the house. Where were those found? And were they in the reach of the children? Because that's another possible scenario that could have happened. No? They have a house party, or even just had, something dropped off at the house. They've got 2 young children. What was it? And could this, if ingested by these children, been lethal for them? The state of the property was terrifying. I'd like to see the inside of the house. The backyard with the drone footage wasn't too bad. I mean, I was, the fence is, kind of makeshift fencing, but the actual backyard itself, only had very few things in the actual backyard. So it looked like there was a nice area that the kids could play in. It just wasn't, it was just, a little rinky-dink, that's all. So, what else? What do you do? So we got that, and I think the other takeaway from this is these children have been missing since May 2nd, and the idea that at this point, for me, the idea that they just walked off, to me, I feel like either one or both of the parents know what happened to it, or this is a stranger danger or an abduction of some type. Maybe a party goer that came to the party, or whatever the case may be. I think it's one of those two scenarios these children just walking off, I don't believe that that's a scenario. And the reason why is because nothing's been found to indicate that they're out in the woods. There's been, like I said, there's no torn clothes. There's no articles of clothes. She left with a backpack. I would think that after so long, the backpack would get heavy, or they'd sit down and she'd forget her backpack, because again, she's only 6 years old. They found nothing, absolutely nothing. And outside of some one print in the dirt on the outside of that gate near the road, I believe, there's no other evidence that these children ever left, the home or walked out of, out there in the woods. And the lack of finding one little fiber to indicate the children were out there is odd. Again, we're dealing with children that are 4 and 6 years old. So I would expect, shoes, a shoe or a sock, or, a shirt or a diaper or the backpack or something like that to be left out there somewhere. And we're not seeing that. In addition to hearing about the house party, in addition to knowing that substances were found inside the home, and the mom leaving and not ever coming back. And the mom also, in addition to that, walking out of a briefing about her kids, it really isn't painting a great light for the parents. So I do understand the speculative nature of thinking the parents may have something to do with it. Of course, one of my theories is just that. But there are other theories that need to be resolved as well. So we can't have laser focus on the parents. There are other things that need to be resolved, especially if they had this house party. So those are my thoughts on it. I just dropped a video on my channel. If you guys haven't had a chance to see it, please go here on TikTok to my channel, Bullhorn Betty, and watch it. Give me a thumbs up. Please don't forget to heart the videos from not just me, but any creator you watch. If you watch it and you like it, consider giving them a heart, because they worked hard on it, and I know that they would appreciate it. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. We'll see you soon.